the Arkansas Times on Friday, July the 7th. Let's start with international news. Donald Trump met Vladimir Putin today, and by all accounts, it was a lovely meeting. It was in private, not in public, where people could hear what was said. Secretary of State Tillerson said that the president and the leader of Russia seemed to hit it off pretty well, develop some positive chemistry. I think George W. Bush said the same thing at one time in his presidency, and things haven't always followed in the U.S.'s interest since. It's interesting that they apparently did talk somewhat about the reports of Russian meddling in our election. Russians assured them that their involvement had been dramatically overstated, and the Trump administration said they're looking forward, not backward. Well, of course, Russia helped elect Donald Trump. We shall see what happens in the future. Let's go back to Little Rock. Warwick Sabin, the state representative from Little Rock, put out a news release today that said he's exploring, and you might just say he is announcing that he's going to run for mayor of Little Rock in 2018. It's 16 months away, but you can't start too early against an incumbent like Mark Stodler, who's finishing his third term in office. Others may seek this job as well. Representative Clark Tucker of Little Rock said he's considering running for mayor. Being a Democrat in the legislature these days is not a very good position to be in. Mayor of the state's largest city perhaps is a better platform to get things done and to contribute. So we've got Warwick Sabin in, perhaps others coming. Crime, I think, will be an issue. Warwick Sabin says he's going to talk about new energy and new ideas and about making Little Rock safe. That's not quite a veiled message about the recent incidents of violence in the city. Good news for Cindy Burton of North Little Rock. She won $1 million with a loser lottery ticket in a drawing the Arkansas lottery holds. She'll, after they take out about $300,000 or so for taxes, she says she's going to take her grandkids to Disney World. Perfect American thing to do with a lottery winning. The legislature today took action to continue to take the steps necessary to ban dicamba. This is a pesticide that's been developed to fight pigweed in soybean fields. Big news for soybean farmers, perhaps not so much for the rest of you. I think the bottom line of this story is interesting is that state government has taken action against the interests of some major chemical companies. That doesn't always happen. They're siding with some farmers who think there's been great crop damage because of this chemical. I took a look today at Arkansas's voter information data. This is the data that Secretary of State Mark Martin decided to turn over to Donald Trump's Election Integrity Commission because he said it's already public information. And that's true. It's just not easily available necessarily, and Trump's commission says they may make this all publicly available where everybody can take a look at it. I don't think voters in Arkansas will be very happy. I took a look at the information. For $2.50, you can get a computer disk that has the name of every registered voter in Arkansas, their street address, their phone number in many cases, the elections they voted in and which party primaries they voted in, whether they filed to be a voter as a Democrat or Republican or as an independent. You can take this information and use it in a lot of ways. It's like a lot of public information that you don't know is readily available, but when you understand that it is, it might make you a little nervous that anybody in the country can get your name, phone number, and address, and perhaps fill out some kind of application using that information to do some misidentification for fraudulent purposes. People are unhappy about it. The Republican Secretary of State of Arizona, after first thinking she would do what Mark Martin had done, supply some of the public information, decided there wasn't any law that required her to cooperate with Trump's commission, and she decided she wasn't going to do it. There are just too many concerns about people's privacy being invaded. So there's that. But Arkansas is going along with Trump and Chris Kobach, the Kansas Secretary of State, who's a vote suppressor from way back and also a friend of Mark Martin's. Finally, here's some news for you. The Midtown Billiards, an old dive bar on Main Street, which was closed by a fire last September, is having its grand reopening tonight. They had a soft opening last night. They actually have a real honest-to-goodness flat-top griddle to make those greasy hamburgers with. I think they'll have a big crowd. I'm one of those who's old enough to say that a night that ends at the Midtown at 2:30 or 3 in the morning is probably a night you'll live to regret, but some people seem to be able to do it over and over again. So there's that to look forward to. Resist. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back next week.